Hi, it's Christopher, Mono County Library Director and co-host of the Oxygen Starved podcast. Mono County declared June as Pride Month, so for this week I've picked a couple of memoirs that salute LGBTQ identity. And my pick for the newer title this week is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. A bestseller and a Reese's Book Club pick. It actually came out a couple years ago, just as the pandemic was burying everything, but it's still going strong. Doyle is an activist and founder of Together Rising, an all-women-led philanthropic organization that raises money for women, families, and children in crisis. Untamed is her third book, and it addresses the events that caused her to own her sexuality as an adult. She had been raised conventionally in a Catholic family and followed that convention into adulthood, but marriage and motherhood didn't stop self-destructive behaviors from developing, what Doyle calls drinking, drugging, and purging. Now, her blurb describes her take on it as, there is a voice of longing inside each of us. We strive so mightily to be good partners, daughters, mothers, employees, and friends. We hope all this striving will make us feel alive, but instead it leaves us feeling weary, stuck, overwhelmed, and underwhelmed. We look at our lives and wonder, wasn't it all supposed to be more beautiful than this? Now, even after becoming sober and more self-aware, her marriage faltered with her husband's infidelity, and in a surprising love-at-first-sight twist, Doyle found herself falling for a woman who she would go on to marry, and was finally able to work through many of her personal issues so that her life made more sense. Doyle's books are blurbed by the likes of Oprah, Brené Brown, and Untamed is described as soulful and uproarious, forceful and tender, both an intimate memoir and a galvanizing wake-up call. Eat, Pray, Love's Elizabeth Gilbert said, Untamed will liberate women emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Now, my pick for the older title this week came out in 2013, and it's more of a straightforward memoir. Fairyland, a memoir of my father by Alicia Abbott. The description reads, after his wife dies in a car accident, bisexual writer and activist Steve Abbott moves with his 2-year-old daughter to San Francisco. Steve throws himself into the city's vibrant cultural scene. He takes Alicia to raucous parties, pushes her in front of the microphone at poetry readings, and introduces her to a world of artists, thinkers, and writers. But the pair live like nomads, moving from apartment to apartment with a revolving cast of roommates and little structure. As a child, Alicia views her father as a loving playmate who can transform the ordinary into magic. But as she gets older, Alicia wants more than anything to fit in. The world, she learns, is hostile to difference. Now, by the time Alicia moves away to college, their relationship is actually strained. And as this is the 80s and early 90s and her father's friends are dying of AIDS, before long it comes for him too, causing Alicia to press pause on her new adulthood to return home to take care of him. She was 22 when he died. A child who grew up as a first-hand witness of both the immense creativity of San Francisco after the gay liberation and the epidemic that snuffed out many influential voices that shaped it, including her father's, it took her some years to process her loss, but she eventually shapes her grief into this beautiful and captivating memoir. The writer Alison Bechdel describes Fairyland as generous, precise, and deeply moving. A love story that not only brings a new generational perspective to a history we're in danger of forgetting, but irrevocably shifts the way we think about family itself. Now, I also want to take a quick moment to mention a couple of other titles some people may find useful. This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson. It came out in the UK in 2015, so our understanding on some issues has progressed since then, but it's based on over 300 testimonies of people in their teens and 20s. This book is a rather frank and lighthearted attempt to add clarity to issues like coming out, stereotypes, discrimination, sex and hooking up, bullying, mental health, and politics. It is not very deep or detailed, so some readers may find it mostly useful for the blurbs from the interviewees themselves to understand that there were others out there dealing with these very personal and sensitive issues. Finally, in our law library collection, we have the most recent edition of the Legal Guide for Lesbian and Gay Couples, which explains legal issues such as parental rights and adoption, how to make wills and medical directives, and how to purchase a home together. It's also available as an ebook in our online Legal Information Resource Center under the Law Library page of our website. Now, each of these titles and more reflecting LGBTQ characters and issues are available at Mono County Libraries. Come in and find them or another great read. In the meantime, happy Pride Month to those who celebrate it, and happy reading.